Xbox's whole future is just leaked, and I am really interested in knowing what's the future of Xbox because I think we're gonna get on to more like server and cloud-based stuff. So how long until we don't need a console anymore?
Addy here today. I hope
What are the technical limitations of that, by the way? I'd like to
you're
know.
all doing absolutely excellent. Today, we are gathering to talk about, wait for it, take a breath, hold on to your seat. It might be a little surprising, but Xbox hardware plans. Indeed, we're taking a break from the Xbox software takeover to dive into hardware plans for the future, including a handheld this year and a next
Oh,
generation system in
oh,
2027, which feels
wait, a
mighty.
handheld? Is it gonna be like my problem with the handhelds now is whenever I travel, I have to have internet access to stream. And I know that there's like little micro SD cards where you can download stuff like the games onto it and then you can play it. And if that's capable on Xbox instead of getting the Steam Deck, which I thought was really cool, but it's really bulky. If you want to travel with it, then like what do you do there? What I mean, what do you guys have any recommendations for like travel size gaming stuff? Because I heard that you could use the backbone, but then you need internet access, and I'm not paying extra for internet access on my airplane ride. I'm just not going to do it.
Pretty soon when
Not
you
going
really
to.
think about it, right? I feel like when you compare it to the Xbox One and PS4 generation, it was by like 2014, early 2015. I think of games like Infamous Second Son, Sunset Overdrive. I think of Bloodborne, Witcher 3, where I'm like,
Ooh,
yeah,
Bloodborne,
we're
Witcher
turning the
3,
corner. Next gen is here. Much
good
sooner compared
games.
to like what I feel is we're still kind of getting there and we're already talking about next generation stuff nonetheless. But also, when we're talking about Xbox hardware, a lot of confidence has waned for this company and their dedication to it, especially after the multi platform pivot, the declining hardware sales. It seems like Xbox is not incentivized to chase this at all, but they're taking a pretty unorthodox approach to it. They are contacting another hardware manufacturer and having them make an Xbox focused device. Combining that with their next generation console plans, it makes for a really interesting conversation. So we're going to dive deep into a report from, of course, my man Jez Corden, see what's going on here for the future of Xbox hardware, and if there's anything to be excited about. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here, you're into what's going on with Xbox, consider subscribing. Let me know your thoughts down below as we go along. But let's start off with the headline. Xbox's new hardware plans begin with a gaming handheld set for later this year with
Dude.
full next-gen consoles targeting 2020.
Microsoft's first full foray into PC gaming handhelds begins with a partner device set to launch later this year with its own Xbox Series X. S successors now fully in production. So basically, they're not going to be creating their own hardwares. They're going to be outsourcing that. I mean, that could be a good thing as long as we're not going to get increased costs from that. But I mean, anything with these tariffs right now, probably an increased cost. I do think it's going to be really cool if you can have a self-contained screen, just like the Stream Deck. Be able to install Xbox games, be able to play them offline. Something with good battery life, good display, nice flow, 60 FPS kind of stuff. Because honestly, if you don't check all of those boxes, then people aren't gonna wanna buy it. It's gonna be gimmicky unless you can get the full thing going, right? I mean, that's usually why I don't buy things is that they have everything I want except for 2 or 3 things that just deal breaker, and I'm not gonna spend the money on it.
27. First up, it seems Microsoft is working with a PC gaming OEM or original equipment manufacturer, think Asus, Lenovo, MSI, Razer, etc., on
Cool.
an Xbox branded gaming
Yeah.
handheld, surprisingly slated for later in 2025 if plans are met.
That's
Codenamed
this year for
Keenan,
me.
this gaming handheld will look
Keenan.
unmistakably Xbox, we're told,
Okay.
complete with an
Gonna
official
have an
Xbox
Xbox
guide
logo
button
button.
and Xbox design sensibilities. Given that this is a partner device similar to Lenovo's Steam OS partnership with Valve, I expect this
Lenovo,
handheld to be
not
more
a fan.
PC oriented. It'll most likely run full Windows, putting the Microsoft Store and PC Game Pass front and center
Full
alongside the ability
Windows.
to install things like Steam. Let's stop there for a moment.
Oh god, that's such a massive deal. So now I can have my Xbox Game Pass. I can have my Steam games on there logged in that I don't have to prepay for or repay for those games. This is going to be pretty dope, especially if I can use Game Pass to download games on it and play them offline. That's going to be massive. Like, I'm definitely getting this. Like, would you guys get this?
Moment. Lot to say here. First off, who do you think the PC equipment manufacturer is? I'll give you one good hint. Hang on. I believe I'm holding in the palms of my hands who will be working on this Xbox handheld. Xbox and Microsoft, creatures of habit. They dip their toe in the pool, see what's going on. and then from there they take the full dive. So I think about in particular with the ROG Ally, or the ROG Ally. I think about this in particular where Xbox is really closely partnered with this device. You know, they were all in on like Game Pass support. Hey, we have the Xbox app here. I mean, it is a Windows device after all. So there were a lot of reasons why Xbox was getting behind it, but you could see it was the beginning of a partnership that would grow
Yeah.
closer. So
And I do
that
like the
is my
off-centered
personal
analog
prediction. But
sticks
with
layout.
that in mind, there's a number of things
Kind of the
that
best way to do it, I
also come
think.
to mind. I use my Steam Deck OLED frequently. I'm in the middle of a brand new New Vegas playthrough, and so wonderful, might I add. I am just loving my time with it. But I've been playing it on my Steam Deck OLED, and that is a very, very, very tough device to replace. The price proposition, the battery life, the screen quality, just how
Look at
smooth
that.
it
Oh,
runs.
Star
Of
Wars
course,
game
the
like that.
lack of headaches also. I just gotta say, like, I like that it's a very casual focused device. I don't have to maneuver windows and do updates via, what was it, Game Crate or whatever it was called on the ROG Ally. Bugged the hell out of me. Like, it is just a straight up handheld gaming device.
Look at
So
that.
you gotta
Play some
stand toe to toe with
Halo.
that.
Battle
But I
rifle.
think with the Xbox branding behind it,
It's the spot,
definitely
man.
draws my
It's the
attention a
spot
lot more. But I hope
nostalgically.
that, of course, point one is that it's a gaming oriented device, less than a PC oriented device personally. But if it is going to include things
Yeah.
like the Microsoft Store and PC Game Pass, this is a great time for Xbox to finally put in front of us, although I think it should have been much earlier as they were moving into this multi-platform plan. I think this is a great time to get in front of us what this new Xbox everywhere ecosystem looks like, right? The rumors have been many times in the past that Xbox is working on some sort of guide system, some way to take the ecosystem from platform to platform, no matter where you are, you still have access to a general suite of Xbox things. This feels like a great proof of concept to launch that idea from, in my personal opinion. Now, continuing on, the article
Honestly,
says
I would game
this
a lot
device will
more if
likely
it
serve, at
was
least
a
in
good
part,
handheld
as
out
a
there
research
and I could
experience
afford
for
it.
Microsoft. I expect the handheld will test new Windows 11 device-aware
Windows
capabilities
11.
while reducing third-party OEM bloatware that are typical of devices like the
Screw
Lenovo
bloatware,
Legion
man.
Go and the Asus ROG Ally. I expect Microsoft will leverage widgets on the Xbox Game Bar on PC for controlling things like TDP and fan speed, while hopefully having a more
Ooh.
streamlined OS experience for controller use.
I'm a fan.
Of course,
I'm a fan of
existing
this.
PC gaming OEMs will benefit from these efforts as well, but the research will also help with Microsoft's further out plans.
So basically what he's saying is that it's going to be used as like a test device in order to help fix things and to figure out what they're going to do later. My Stream Deck is awesome. You should get one. Dude, honestly, I would get a Stream Deck. I want to get a Stream Deck. They're just so expensive. My friend Sammy told me that I should get a Stream Deck, and all my friends who have them love them, but like it's pretty bulky. It's also like $500. I went on Facebook Marketplace, and the problem with Facebook Marketplace is that everybody thinks that their used shit is actually worth something. It's not. People think that their used things are worth something, and they're not, and not worth as much as they think they can get out of them. Like I pay the extra $50 for a new one instead of buying your used knocked to the side with Cheeto stains on it device. Like, give me a deal if I'm gonna have to deal with that stuff. So annoying.
So yes, a new Xbox themed handheld in 2025 that's serving as a sort of research experience. And I'm curious what they're going to do here that, for example, they can't do down the line for a real official Xbox handheld. Like, what is the compromise in this device that only Xbox themselves can do? Because the question I have is, how do you make this purchase not feel like just a short-term investment, right? If you buy a handheld this year, this Xbox-themed handheld, like, of course, I'll be buying it. I mean, number one, it's my job. Number two, I cover Xbox a lot. Number three, I'm really curious, but I don't think that is a common set of reasons for most people purchasing. It's like, why should I buy this so that it's my default handheld gaming device?
Give me
And
a
as we're going to learn in a
price.
second, when
Give me
Xbox
a price
is planning
range.
as part of their next-generation push to
Well, I
basically
think
make the new
one of the issues with getting this new Xbox handheld, which might be the future, is that it might take away from actually people wanting to play Xbox in general or buy new Xboxes. So I'm guessing it's going to be priced kind of in the same price range as a normal console to give people who would otherwise not need a console an option. So people might not buy a console who would buy this. And people might buy a console and instead buy this now. And then people might also just still get the consoles because they want to be serious competitive gaming or they want to do something like less casual. And they want like the top of tier stuff so they can be competitive in these Warzone games where I'm sorry, but if you're on a handheld playing Warzone against somebody with a controller and a PC, you're going down. You're not gonna hit. You're not gonna hit.
Version of the Series S and X SKU split, like this hardcore console that will go beneath your TV at the same time as another handheld. It's like, why would I buy 2025's handheld if I know a 2027 handheld from you guys is coming up? So
Mm,
I'm curious how they answer that question. But what we've got up next here is Jez writes, because indeed,
does
our
look fun
sources
either
also
way.
indicate that Microsoft's internal successor to the Xbox Series X and S platform has been fully greenlit all the way up to CEO Satya Nadella. For now, I understand that Microsoft's next generation hardware plans include a premium successor to the powerful Xbox Series X alongside its own Xbox gaming handheld and several new controller options. Tentatively, it seems these new console devices are slated for 2027. Now, one thing Jez did speculate about on the Xbox 2 podcast is that it would be more PC like, as we'll get into a bit, this brand new Xbox console. But we might have gotten a little taste of this with the Xbox FTC leak that happened, which contained a plethora of games and, of course, hardware plans that we even still reference to this day. Now, Phil Spencer did step out when that leak happened and said, like, hey, a lot of these are out of date. But what we did see was like a adorable all digital Series X as they defined it. Interestingly, was the controller that would lift to wake up, automatically connect to your TV. So that was like a new step in Bluetooth technology for the controller that I think would work best with cloud gaming. So I feel like that's going to be part of the push. Because there was a report from 2 months ago from Jez Court, and he says, I've got it on good authority that Sabile still exists and is planned to launch alongside the next generation of Xbox console hardware. Microsoft wants to retain the ergonomic feel of the existing range of Xbox controllers, but it seems that the grips also house new haptic motors that can direct high definition impulses. The patent describes how the new motors are spread throughout the device and should activate consistently irrespective of how the player moves the housing of the controller. Also, another interesting aspect of Sabile is the fact that it will borrow a feature from Stadia in that it will connect directly to cloud games over Wi-Fi. Players will be able to directly point the controller at different devices via an active device list of sorts, similar to how you can point Spotify to different devices
I don't
you've
think this
connected
any of this
your
shit that
account
they're
to.
saying right
By
now
bypassing
is
Bluetooth, it should help
even
eliminate a
close
few additional
to
milliseconds of latency
relevant.
when playing games in the cloud, which may not seem like much, but it is an uncanny difference and was a big contributor as to why Stadia often felt faster than competing solutions at the time. So there is a world I
Yeah.
feel where like
You're
this
just
handheld.
stacking at that point. You're just stacking these different delays and these latencies. And one of the biggest problems and one of the reasons why I haven't gotten a TV yet is because I don't think that having a TV that's like 60 hertz is I'm gonna even want it. Like, why not have the 120 hertz? You can't have the 120 hertz. Just don't have it. That's how I feel whenever I'm talking about like a well-rounded TV that's gonna play games. Gonna play that I'm gonna play games on. Have you ever picked up a controller on like a game and then you go and you play it and then like it's like already a clunky game and then you have to press forward and it has a little delay. You turn, there's a little bit of delay. It absolutely ruins games for me. I cannot play games like that. I'd rather set the controller down. Call me spoiled. Call me call me whatever you want. I just can't do it. I don't know how people do. I don't know how people could possibly do that. By the way, you guys, check this out. Merch. This shirt came in today, and honestly, I usually don't like the way that shirts fit me, especially, but this one fits really well. I really like this shirt. It is awesome. And I'm not just saying that because it's my branding on it. I'm saying that because it actually feels really good. Do you think YouTube comments are more toxic than Twitter? I don't know. I don't get on Twitter very much, to be honest. I maybe for crypto investing, so I keep up to date with people like tweeting stuff about crypto. But yeah, I usually don't even get on that. I don't even have one. Too many things to keep track of. Do you think cancel culture is dying out? I don't. I don't. I think that it's harder to cancel people. I think that people have what I like to call cancel culture fatigue. And when you're talking about cancel culture, I feel like it only takes so long before people stop really caring because it's just overinflated and people are doing it too much. And honestly, at what point does it become more of like a freedom of speech issue? When does it become like a you're overly sensitive and you don't know how the world works? You don't know that the world doesn't really care how you feel about things. I mean, I care about what you guys feel like, and I'm trying to be considerate about everybody who's around me, but the general population, for towards strangers, they probably just don't care, and I can't blame them. Why would they? You really thought this was good content? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. You're more than welcome to join or stay or whatever. You seem to be cool to me. I like your opinion, whatever. You just killed this topic for real. I mean, like honestly, about the whole Xbox handheld, I just don't think that it's anything new. Now, if they can get latency down and have the on-demand streaming, so you don't have to, or cloud play, so you don't have to hook into any kind of internet, and whenever you or and so you can also download them local, so you don't have to hook into any internet, but you also have cloud options, so you don't have to download games and wait for that in order to play them. There's not much latency, then that is awesome. If we can pull that off, it's going to be a game changer for sure. Literally, no pun intended.
That they're making is sort of like a Steam Deck where you can end up using it like a PC. I mean, these things are getting more and more powerful despite their sizes. And so you could use a controller on it even if you'd like. And maybe that is the idea of the Xbox hardware ecosystem moving forward, is like you can buy this controller and use
Like,
it
what
on
if
your
you could
TV
dock?
as well as the handheld that you bought in 2025, and it all just works together really well. If this is the vision, it is exciting. But of course,
Yeah, like the
again, we have
Twitch.
another
I mean,
handheld
not
in
the
the mix
Twitch,
here, which is your
the
Series
Switch.
S, if
The
you
Twitch.
will, for that generation. And then you have a brand new powerful console, it sounds like. What is that console? Jez writes, it seems that the next gen Xbox consoles will be closer to Windows than ever before, reducing the
Okay.
amount of work developers have to commit to porting from PC. I understand that they will continue to support backwards compatibility
Hmm.
with legacy Xbox games too, however.
You really think it's
Xbox
getting in the
President
way that
Sarah Bond
much?
previously announced a project team specifically designed to promote backwards and forwards compatibility for existing Xbox games to that end. Xbox lead Phil Spencer has teased in previous interviews the desire to support third-party storefronts on Xbox hardware too, including platforms like the Epic Game Store, GOG, itch.io, and even Steam itself. There's every reason to presume AI will also have a role to play next gen, as well as Xbox cloud capabilities. Microsoft's new controllers have direct to cloud connectivity, from what I've been told, and more intelligently allow players to switch them between different devices. This is where I think the vision really comes in the form. Jez says, I've argued in previous editorials that Microsoft needs to bring its core audience along for the ride rather than leave them
They do.
behind. And its hardware plan seems to be doing
I don't
exactly
know.
that. By linking
I just don't know how they're gonna do that with the console, with the handheld. I feel like you're not gonna, especially if you can dock it, which I mean, I don't think they will. Docking support would be cool. Yeah, I think so too. But then it's like, at what point are you just taking away from sales and you're not selling consoles anymore, because you can basically just buy a handheld version that can go with you anywhere that you can then dock and then use normal controllers for, right? So you're basically getting rid of the Xbox console experience entirely if it performs the same way. Obviously, anything that has a larger form factor is going to be able to perform better than something in a smaller form factor. And that is kind of a big part of their sales. So it's like, why put all this R&D into a handheld gaming device? And if it's only going to be, if it's not going to make you more money, it's going to cost you money in R&D and stuff, especially if you're already releasing the console version of it. And so, yeah, I just don't see how they could like get them to buy both. Like, I don't understand. There's probably a couple people who'd buy a console and then also buy the handheld. And I guess if they timed it out right, they might be able to get sales from one and then release the other later, and everybody's gonna want it because it's new and people have like the fear of missing out on this new product. So, yeah,
Xbox to Windows, Microsoft
yeah. Do you watch other commentary creators? I watch them, not on the stream, but I do watch them. I think that a lot of reasons why I do what I do now is just because I have seen a couple of them and it looked like fun and I wanted to try it out.
Microsoft can
Here I am.
cast off the need to
Here
build
you
a
are.
system that is completely lockstep with PlayStation on features and power. Microsoft could potentially target a more powerful box more in line with higher end PCs, giving developers an easier time to optimize their Windows PC versions specifically for the next gen Xbox console. Thanks to the Series S, Microsoft already has a large amount of games that could be easily ported to a handheld type system too. The strong possibility that these future systems will remain backwards compatible ensures that those of us who are digitally locked into the Xbox ecosystem will have a place to upgrade
Mm-hmm.
to in the future. Future Xbox games will likely be Windows oriented, hopefully with Xbox Play Anywhere as a
Play
default
anywhere.
licensing model. Of course,
Hell
there's
yeah.
still so much we don't know and can only speculate upon for now: prices, specs, features, developer support, and beyond.
Bro, Coachable just said Asmongold knockoff. You know what? Honestly, dude, that's probably the sweetest thing anybody's ever said to me. I like Asmongold. I think his content is awesome. I think he streams a lot. I think his personality is pretty cool. I think he's a smart guy. You may not agree with everything he says or anything like that, but y'all don't agree with what anybody says, like holistically, like all the time. Yeah, he gets a lot of hate, and I think that's one of the reasons why he does so well. But he's also gets a lot of love, and I think that's the one reason why he stays doing it. And
They
he's genuine, right? I
are
mean, he
for
doesn't
a
pretend to be something he's not, and he's not like flashy or anything. You know, it's good. Have you ever taken a break from making content? Honestly, dude, not really. I mean, I try to stream at least twice a week. And I haven't been doing this for very long, but it has been a good experience for me, and I do plan on doing this as much as I can.
future report. So now
Pretty
you're
busy
starting to
though.
see the vision here. One thing that has happened this entire generation is bloated development timelines. And
Mhm.
I do think it's fair to say it is part of the
Yeah, I
amount of
see that.
SKUs we have nowadays compared to
Shadows.
even a
Assassin's
generation
Creed
ago,
Shadows.
right? I just held
Grand
up the
Theft
ROG
Auto.
Ally, I have the Steam Deck OLED, you have your PC with all various configurations, thousands of them. You have different consoles at different levels, your Series X, your Series S, you have a PS5 Pro now, you have the
Mhm.
base PS5. Hell, let's throw in the Nintendo Switch, then the Nintendo Switch 2. You're
Yeah.
developing for so many platforms. It's why you see smaller teams just stagger out their releases per platform because there's only so many places that you can target. But Xbox's desire here to say that, hey, kind of one size fits all. Like if you make something for our next gen console, then guess what? That's going to work for PC. If you make something for Series X, that's going to work for PS5, of course, because those two are more in lockstep. But if you make something for the Series S, that might work for this 2025 handheld. That'll also work for the upcoming 2027 handheld. So you start to see the vision here where your games, if you're a developer, can kind of live everywhere. At least on paper, it is very much tantalizing
I would
to,
get
I
it.
think, a developer-friendly
Looking like it.
ecosystem, especially when you
I want to
include
know the
things
pricing.
like Game Pass. There's just a lot of places people can access your content from and discover your content from, which, quite frankly, discoverability is the least talked about, most difficult
Flight
part
Simulator is
of
so
game
popular,
development
dude.
slash marketing. Is
People
just
love that
there's so
shit.
much good stuff out there. It's just sometimes tough to even hear about it. So with Xbox having this sort of play anywhere feature, different pieces of hardware, this ecosystem, this is a future I can buy into. Here's the only problem for me is I already know they ain't going to be a disk drive. And that is going to sting. But, you know,
Oh yeah,
this is where
super
Xbox is
speed
going, no
disc
doubt, with their
spinning.
cloud tech and their focus on
I
AI.
love
This is
those.
going to be a
What do they call it?
very
Fatigue
digital
testing
platform.
things.
And for people like moi, see my background, you know, it's just going to be some growing pains, unfortunately. But I will say Xbox Play Anywhere, I do love the idea, like we saw quietly with Indiana Jones, where if you're playing on Steam and then you load it up on Xbox, your save carries over. That is awesome. Like that just
That's
seamless
what the
experience of being
best
able
part
to
is
just
about it.
play anywhere.
Like if I'm on my handheld, I play some games and I save here, and then I go home and I want to play games again, and then my save is already there. That's awesome. I was trying to play Red Dead Redemption 2, which I have the hard copy of on Xbox, and I wanted to play it on my PC because I was all like, you know what's cool? Modding games. But I couldn't do that without buying another license for it. The other thing is I have a Grand Theft Auto 5, I had a PC key, and then I had a failure in my PC, and I couldn't use the same key, and I called my Rockstar Games. They couldn't help me. And so now I'm stuck with no game that I paid $60 for a key, and it's so stupid. I like to get keys because then you were able to kind of like reuse the key and like have the game controlled, but you know, whatever.
Access your saves anywhere. I know
It's
Cyberpunk
a huge
also
deal.
messed with cross save in an interesting
Huge
way.
deal.
I do think
Cross
that is a
saving's
big
good.
part of the future, and I understand that
It's gonna
the
be a
kind of
standard
digital
for games
push
one
is
day.
like a necessary evil in my eyes for a lot of that. But look, as a handheld junkie, I already got two to my side here. Got the analog pocket. I love the Vita. You know, like I've always wanted Xbox to do their own handheld. To know that we're gonna get two, I'm very keen. Like I will say, I'm very excited about that.
I just want
because
one that's
while
awesome.
it's been
I don't need
hinted
two.
at so many times by Xbox, it's like, well, no, duh. Just knowing that it's going to happen, I'm like, okay, cool. Like I am very curious to see what Xbox does throw their hat in the ring on that. And because of the way they're proposing this sort of hardware plan, at least on paper through Jez Corden, what we have here is something that does remove a little bit of a fear of mine for Xbox, which was I felt they were in a bit of a race to beat PlayStation to that kind of handheld, because PlayStation, of course, I just mentioned the Vita, the PSP, to me at least, is so synonymous with handheld gaming, like right there with Nintendo. And based on reports we've
What
seen,
would you
PlayStation
guys
is working.
say is your absolute favorite handheld that you've ever had? Like, if you were to have to pick one that you had, what would it be? Because I probably haven't used them enough to understand exactly what the different variations are, because I'm not a big handheld kind of guy. But yeah, what do you guys think? Because I'd really like to know. I'm in the market for one actually. I think it'd be cool to have one, even though I don't really game so much anymore. Game Boy Advance. That's a throwback. Yeah, I would say I definitely had a Game Boy Advance. I love playing Pokemon games on there, and then the Godzilla game on there. There's just a ton of good stuff. Um, yeah, but I think the Steam Deck's probably up there with it. The Xbox One is gonna be awesome. I might just have to get that one if I might wait to get that one, right? When does it come out? How much does it cost? The Steam Deck? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I was thinking. So
On
yeah,
their own handheld. So in my head, originally there was
Sony
this
handheld
world
too.
where okay, Xbox and PlayStation are about to enter a handheld race, and
Oh, I
Xbox's
really don't like the layout of that with the
hardware
space.
clout, we'll
I don't
say,
know.
is just down
I don't know about the
5,000%
design
right
on that.
now. All PlayStation needs to do is confirm a new handheld is on the way that's not the PS Portal, which by the way did really well,
PSP was
and they are going to
awesome.
smoke
Yeah, I
whatever
remember
Xbox
that.
is doing, no matter how good it is. But when you have this sort of in-betweener here, and you start to see what the vision is now and for the future, I think they're just on a completely different path from PlayStation, given Xbox is going
Mm.
everywhere. So yeah, I have
It
to admit,
is.
I am
Well,
optimistic about it.
you have the access to the
Because an
Windows
Xbox
stuff. Yeah.
device that holds
Mhm.
Steam, that holds, I don't really use Epic Game Store, but all these storefronts, GOG, I do use sometimes. Like Xbox as a device holding all of those would bring me into that ecosystem even
For sure.
deeper.
Because you
So
have them
all
all.
they need to do now is
You
just
don't have to pick and
overhaul the
choose.
achievement system, and I'm going full fanboy here. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, those are my thoughts on what's going on here with Xbox's next generation plans. Let me know what you're thinking down below. Fire away. Other than that, take excellent care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next video. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.
Anything that has the Windows infrastructure is going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to an Xbox handheld console, I guess you could say, especially if it has docking features, if it has cross saving, if you can download things to the actual device to play offline, but then you can also play cloud gaming whenever you're online. And if it has low latency, good screen, good ergonomics, and everything works as intended, dude, I'm getting one. I mean, why wouldn't you get one? That would be so awesome. I love that. I love that we're going this direction. Bring back that. Bring it back. Bring it back.